Hey guys, Iron Spider-Man here with another comic book video. Today's gonna be a little different. I thought I would discuss my thoughts and review on the Spider-Man PS4 game. And I have these comics here just to, some for you guys to look at, or if you want to put this on in the background, whatever. Just, I wanted to give my thoughts as, hardcore Spidey fan, and just some things I want to talk about that no one else seems to really be talking about with the game. So that's what I wanted to do, is just discuss everything in depth. So let's just jump right into it. I love the game. It's incredibly fun. It's what Spider-Man should be represented as in a video game. It's just everything's phenomenal. How you can play, the options you can do, what you can do. It's just there's almost nothing that you can't do. It's just phenomenal. The mechanics, everything, they really hit it out of the park. Gameplay is phenomenal. Combat, I mean, I know a lot of people compare this to the Arkham games, and honestly, yeah, this is Spider-Man Arkham Knight, basically. This is what you would expect from something like Insomniac, something that's 2018, a high-quality game like this. One of the things I love most about the game are the backpacks. You have to go around, and there's 55 of them, you have to collect them all. And each one has, it's something different. Like, one's like a cracked lens, or one's like, oh, these gloves I used when I fought Electro. Just comic book callbacks that are just really neat, that it, to me at least, makes it more enjoyable to go out and actually collect them. Because usually in games, or like the Arkham games, I don't care about facing the Riddler, I don't care about his data packs or his trophy, I don't give a shit. So the backpacks, I was kind of like, well, I really don't care enough. But they made it where it's like, oh, well, you get to see these items and little, callbacks. So I thought that was really cool. Another big thing that I love that they did, now I know, I think Arkham Knight did this, but not until New Game Plus. Let's say, there's obviously different suits in the game. If you're wearing one of those suits, it will show up in a cutscene. So, we've all seen the cutscene from the E3 gameplay where he's on the crane and he falls off. You can be in any suit that is available, and that will be in that cutscene. Now, I know games have done that maybe with New Game Plus or whatnot, but this is just main story, no New Game Plus. You can just do it, and I thought that was really cool. And another great thing, you unlock the suits as you progress through the game, and you can wear them whenever. You don't have to wait till you beat the game, or whatever. You can just, unlock it. If you have enough tokens to craft it, you can wear it. But yeah, just overall, love the game. Can't stress that enough. I actually bought on eBay the limited edition PS4 with the deluxe edition and all that stuff, because I want to have it. The funny thing is, I'm not really a gamer, per se. I've played a couple things, the Arkham games, Saints Row, Left 4 Dead, couple Call of Duties. I'm not a gamer by any sense. I'm usually a PC gamer, but again, I use the word gamer lightly, because it's not something I do every day. Sometimes not even every week. But with this game, with what Spider-Man means to me, I had to get it, and I was like, you know what, go big or go home, get the limited edition. So I did that. Now, on to some of the things that kind of bothered me about the game. Again, I view these as more nitpicks, because the story itself is so phenomenal. I wish this was a movie. This story is one of the best stories for Spider-Man I've ever seen in my life. Granted, I'm not too old. I'm 21. I've been reading Spider-Man since I could read, 5 years old maybe. So, well over a decade, almost 20 years, I've been reading Spider-Man stories. And comics, Ultimate Comics, novels, books, video games. Like, this is probably one of the best stories I've ever read, or best stories ever written for Spider-Man the character. But again, that's why I'm saying there's just maybe a couple nitpicks I had with it. So, just to get this out of the way, the suits. Advanced suit, let's talk about that first. When I first saw it, I did not like it. I thought it was kind of dumb. I was like, the white spider, and I was like, it didn't look great. Like, when I was seeing the first trailer, I was expecting the classic suit, just a regular, which they do obviously have in the game, but it's, like, I was expecting to see the classic suit, and he swings on looking like a Pepsi can, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, I was like, you had no right to change it, blah, blah. Like, I sort of turned into that typical hate it first guy, which I don't like. I don't like to do that. I like to give everything a chance, but just my initial thought was that looks like crap. But then, after seeing some gameplay and, last year and whatnot, I was like, okay, like, the suit's warming up to me, and, like, when they did the breakdown, it was like the blues were more flexible, that's why you see it run through his shoulders, the red's more, like, padded for, like, punches, and the white is, like, bulletproof type material. I was like, okay, you know what, if Spider-Man was a real person, I'm like, that makes sense. And, like, more running shoes for the boots instead of actual boots, I'm like, you know what, that is practical, that makes sense. I'm like, I can get behind that, that's fine. I was a little disappointed, though, which is going to lead into my next point, because someone, I forget where the article was, someone made the article saying, like, oh yeah, the Insomniac suit, the white spider and all that, that's actually was influenced by Gwen Stacy. And obviously, if any of you guys have played the game, that's not right. That's not how he... Sorry about that, I have a makeshift stand going on here. It toppled over, sorry about that, guys. But, Gwen Stacy had nothing to do with his suit. She's never even mentioned in the game, which I was a little disappointed with. I like Gwen Stacy. She is my favorite love interest, aside from Mary Jane. And I thought, you know what, I was like, okay, the white spider, like, I figured there was going to be, like, a flashback or something where Gwen's like, Peter, you're, like, saying something dumb and comic booky, like, you're my white knight or something. And I would have been like, okay, so if he incorporated that into his suit, becoming a better person because of her, all that. So again, this is my imagination just running wild. I was like, that would make sense, that's a cool idea. But no, it was an Otto Octavius design, which I'll get into in a little bit. But back to the suits in general, the one thing that kind of made me mad was there's 28 suits, I think, currently, or there's 25, and there's gonna be 28 in total, or so. There's 20-something, almost 30 suits. I don't know if that's total and there's more to come, or that is with all the ones to come or not, but... So there's a lot of suits in this game. My problem is, there's no Superior Spider-Man suit, there's no Kane Scarlet Spider suit, there is the Ben Reilly, which looks great, and I love the Ben Reilly suit, but I also love the Kane suit. There's no Symbiote Spider-Man, there's no Sam Raimi Spider-Man, there's no Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 movie suits, and there's no comic book Iron Spider suit. And, it's 2018, and coming off of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, where they had almost 20 suits and had all of the ones I just mentioned, to me, those suits, that shouldn't be a question if they're in the game. They should just be there. Superior, the symbiote, the movie suits, and again, they have the movie Iron Spider suit, but it's like, you didn't think to put the comic book Iron Spider suit in there? To me, that's just dumb. I was like, you were able to put in the vintage suit, which looks like how Arkham did the animated suits, which in my opinion looks terrible. The Ghost Spider, or Spirit Spider, whatever it's called, looks dumb. The Fear Itself, the Secret Wars suit. Fear Itself and Secret Wars, Spider-Man wore those suits one time for one event book that most of us have forgotten. It's like you had... And then, like, the Velocity suit, and then the new DLC suit they released. It's like, you could put those in there, but you couldn't put something like Superior or the Venom suit or the movie suits that should be in there. Like, I remember when people were making videos, like, oh, well, the movie suits be in it, and I'm like, it should be. The last two Amazing Spider-Man games did that. It's like, that shouldn't be a question whether those suits are in there. Those are iconic, classic, so mainstream. It's like, I think the biggest one was the symbiote. It's like, how could you, that's like the second biggest Spider-Man, or well-known Spider-Man suit in the history of Spider-Man. And you didn't, I don't know, that really annoyed me. Sorry for, like, the small rant, guys, but it's like, you can make the Velocity suit and all these, like, other original designs you're coming out with, but you couldn't put, I don't know. And then, like, we got, like, the suits I kind of mentioned, Ghost, the Vintage, Fear Itself, Secret War, and the Anti-Ox suit. This is going to sound weird. I like the look of the Anti-Ox suit, but I would gladly trade that for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit or something. It's just like, I don't know, that really bugged me. It's like, this is supposed to be the Spider-Man game, and you're missing some key elements. But anyway, that's enough on the suits. Gonna move on. Otto Octavius. I liked seeing Otto's progression through this story. He's a scientist, he has this idea for prosthetics. He's getting it, a little bit of a step back, he's getting it, step back, and then he has his breakthrough, and he has it all together, and he makes, obviously, the arms. I'm like, okay, it's not just like, oh, I have an idea for invention, oh, okay, I made these arms. Like, you see the progression, it's more realistic and comic booky at the same time. I'm like, this is good. I liked this. It's a good story for him. What I didn't really understand was, this is 8 years into Spider-Man's career, right? Otto Octavius was one of the first 5 villains Spider-Man ever faced. And he's not Doc Ock yet. Like, it's been 8, I don't know, and he has his own company. Otto was never a character. I mean, I know in Superior Spider-Man he made his own company, but he was as Peter Parker. He never had his own Octavius Industries or anything like that. Like, yeah, he was brilliant, and he always has been, but, like, him wanting to help people and have his own company and all this stuff, I'm like, that's never really anywhere. He's a very hostile character. He thinks he's better than everyone. He is super smart, but, wants to be, again, the best. It's like, that's not a formula of a character that's like, oh yeah, I want to help people and have I have my own company. Like, that, I don't know. I think they should have just done away with that. And, like, why couldn't Peter be working for Horizon or Dr. Connors? And, I mean, I did like the nod when Otto sees Peter working on the suit. He's like, oh, you're his tech guy. Because that's a direct callback to the comics when Max Modell, who Peter is working for at the time at Horizon Labs, figures out, he's like, you're his tech guy. And Peter's like, yeah, that's what I am. I'm not Spider-Man. So, I don't know. I thought Peter could have been working somewhere else or at the Daily Bugle, because photography is a part of the game. So I figured he could have been, like, at the Bugle or with Connors, but again, nitpicks, because I liked what they did with Otto's story. They made him like the Spider-Man 2 movie from 2004. They made him likable, they made him human. But again, it's like he's not usually that kind of character. But moving on, Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn is the perfect asshole in this game. He's exactly what you would expect from that type of character. He's, doing the, oh, come on, how long have we known each other? It's Mr. Mayor. It's like, he's a perfect dick, and I loved him in this game. I feel like, though, he was very underused. Like, oh yeah, he's just this brilliant scientist who's rich, and he's greedy, and he's out to, like, hurt people for his own gain. But, like, yeah, that is Norman, but it's like, there's the psychotic part of the Green Goblin. And we don't see any part of the Green Goblin with Norman in this, and I would have expected, at least near the end, a hint that he was ever, like, we don't know if he ever was, or if he is, or what, and it's like, well, that's Spider-Man's, that's the Joker to Batman, is the Green Goblin to Spider-Man. It's like, why why is he just Norman in this game? Why isn't he at least experimenting with some formula or something? Like, yeah, I know he helped make Devil's Breath, but it's like, I don't know. Why isn't he making Super Soldier formula or trying to do something? Like, he just felt very underused, and he was there to be like a human villain. Like, he wasn't supposed to be like Martin Lee or one of the superpowered villains. I'm like, but he should be. Then, which leads into Harry. Harry, again, I did like his side missions, the research stations for his mom, because Harry misses his mom. Norman can't give a damn. I did like that aspect. I'm fine that we didn't see Harry. I kind of would have liked if we did, but I know they can only do so much. It's like, I don't mind not seeing Harry. But at the end, where it's like, oh yeah, Harry has a disease, the Europe thing's, that's a BS, that he's not actually in Europe. And Norman made the Devil's Breath as like sort of a cure for Harry, or like a potential cure. And I was like, I hated that, because that reminds me of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was a garbage movie where it's like, oh, I'm dying from this goblin-like disease. It's just, I hated that. I was like, you had to have Harry be sick. Like, why couldn't he actually just be in Europe? Or, like, why do you even have to mention, like, minus the research station aspect of it, like, why mention him at all? And I thought that was a dumb setup, and everyone's like, oh, well, do you see the stuff in the vat he's sitting in? He's gonna be Venom. It's like, no, he's not, because Harry as Venom was from the Ultimate Spider-Man Disney XD show, and again, that was a garbage show. It's like, if they do that, it's just, they're screwing up too much. And from what I've seen of this game, it's like they seem to know what they're doing and seem to have a love for Spider-Man, so it's like, I really hope they don't go that route, but who knows. Moving on. Okay, MJ. I like Mary Jane in this game. I like that, you know, like, there's drama between her and Peter Parker, but it's like, why is she a reporter for the Daily Bugle? Like, she's not Lois Lane, she's not, Mary Jane is not the Wonder Woman of the Marvel Universe. She's not like this super tough, oh, I can do anything person. Mary Jane in the comics, at least 80% of the time, is there for one reason and one reason only: to be saved by Peter Parker and to create drama in his life. That is what Mary Jane does. Yes, she's strong as in, like, okay, I stand by my husband, and in, like, Superior Spider-Man, we got that one scene where she fights off, I forget, some sort of goons, and she has web shooters, and she's, like, going at it. Or, like, in the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, where she puts on the Iron Spider costume. I'm like, okay, little things like that's fine, but it's like, she's not that useful. She's not that great of a character to be like, yeah, I'm a reporter, I can do this, this, and that. It's like, no. I didn't like how they did her too much. Like, I like that she was in the game and how much interaction she had with Peter, but I didn't like how it's like, yeah, I'm strong and I can do this. It's like, you don't have powers. Like the subway station where she's creating distractions and Peter's taking them up, fine. Or like when she's working on the bomb because he's busy fighting people, like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but like, oh, I'm gonna sneak into all these facilities and, you know, because Mary Jane always feared Peter going out and getting killed or dying or whatever, and it's like, she wouldn't throw herself into that situation too. But, I don't know. But probably my biggest character problem was Miles Morales. I'm not gonna lie, I hate Miles Morales. He's a dumb character, he was never needed to be created. He's there for the sake of being there, just to have another Spider-Man. And I don't understand why everyone's trying to shoehorn him into everything. In Spider-Man Homecoming, it was like, oh yeah, I got a nephew that lives here. In this game, he's getting the animated series movie. It's like, we don't need him. He's not that great. He has 2 extra powers than Peter Parker. And he was there to mix up a story after Ultimate Peter Parker died. And it's just, there's nothing special about him. He's not, in the game they made him smart, which he's not smart in the comics. He's an idiot because he's just a regular kid. Well, maybe I shouldn't say idiot. He's a regular kid. He's not a genius. And in Disney XD show and in this game, it's like, oh, subatomic particles and I can hack things. And it's like, no, because in the book you're useless and you have your friend, the Asian kid, I forget his name. He's really funny though. He makes the web fluid. He helps him like do everything. And it's like, Miles is useless as a character and they keep trying to like reinvent him and make him cool. And it's like, they can't, I don't think they can. He's useless. I didn't like his stealth missions in this game. Half, though, because it was like, I'm swinging around with Spider-Man, I'm having fun, and it's like, okay, now you're this other regular person. It's like, no, I paid how much money? I want to swing around to Spider-Man. I want to do Spider-Man things. I don't want to be just a normal guy walking around, hacking things, and, if I wanted to do that, I'd play Watch Dogs. But I felt Miles was not needed in this game, and the story could have been done without him. I will give props, though, when his dad dies, the whole funeral thing, that, like, explosion in the city, that was a really well-done scene. Hits you right in the feels, and it was good. But another thing, it's like, why did his dad have to die? In the comics, his dad never dies, it's his mom. And his mom, that was a really good scene, because I like Brian Michael Bendis' writing, and when his mom dies, she's just laying there in his arms, and his mask is torn so she can see it's him, and she touches him, she goes, look what you can do, because of who he is as Spider-Man, and she finally figures it out, and she just dies. And it's like that, I felt like the mom should have died, not the dad, or both, or some, I don't know. I was like, why do you gotta kill Jeff? Because I kind of like Jeff, but I don't know. Maybe on to some more positives now. J. Jonah Jameson. I really wish we would have seen him in this game. His podcasts are so funny. I don't think they missed a beat with his character. He was just completely correct. Hilarious. I wish he was still at the Daily Bugle and it was like a Daily Bugle podcast. But he was hilarious. I loved J. Jonah Jameson in this game. Maybe if they do a sequel, we'll actually get to see him or something, but Jonah was hilarious. Yuri Watanabe, I've always liked her character in the comics. She became the Wraith. I think that's how you pronounce it, Wraith. She was really good. I liked her in this. That's her and Spider-Man have like a working relationship, and she's not like, oh, vigilantes suck. It's like, no, they're useful, and I really liked her. Interesting fact, though, I did not know this until recent. Yuri, I forget his last name, who voices Spider-Man, his wife is the voice of Yuri Watanabe. So I just thought that was cool. It's like, not that Yuri and Spider-Man ever date or anything, but like in the game a little bit, you can be like, oh, they could be a couple. And it's like, because in real life they are. And I just thought that was really cool. Okay, so probably last thing I'm going to talk about, Martin Lee. We all know he's like one of the major villains in the game. We've seen the gameplay, the trailers, all that. And the story, it is mainly a Martin Lee story. For the villain side, at least, I mean. But, so I liked him. I liked his voice. I liked Martin, I'm sorry, I should clarify. I liked Mr. Negative's voice, how it was, like, altered, not just regular Martin Lee's voice. That, need to clarify that. But he sounds good. I liked him as a villain. I like his powers. I always thought Mr. Negative was a interesting guy from the comics. Now, the biggest thing, in the comics, it's weird. It's Mr. Negative is like its own being almost, and it like takes over people, and it's like a imagine Two-Face from Batman, except like the negative side knows that he turns into the regular person. The regular person has no idea about the negative aspect. Like, he has no idea he's out doing things. Kind of imagine Peter Parker with the symbiote. How the symbiote in would, like, I think in the 80s it would, like, take over his body and go out and fight crime, and then Peter would wake up so exhausted, he's like, well, what the hell did I do? Kind of the same thing with Martin Lee in the comics. Like, he had no idea he was, like, secretly this villain. And in the game, he does know, which I kind of liked the Two-Face aspect of it. It was like, oh, I have no idea, you know what I mean? Because then he could have, like, he had no idea, and it could have been revealed to him, and it could have just been, I don't know, I felt like it could have been a better moment of him being like, I'm what? I'm Mr. Negative? Like, because I'm pretty sure in the comics it's mentioned somewhere when Spider-Man finds out and tries to tell someone, it's like, they don't even look alike. And the point of that is because Mr. Negative is this, like, other entity and just, like, takes over people. In the game, it was a science experiment to, I forget, but it was done to Martin when he was real young. Which, I mean, obviously it makes sense, Norman Osborn being behind it and whatnot, and I'm fine with him becoming an experiment, but it's like, all that energy, and then, like, there's a part of the game where you come into the negative world, and I'm like, this all supernatural stuff is done by a natural force like science? Like, I don't really know. Again, I know I've done a lot of complaining. It seems like I did love the game. Again, I bought the entire package. I'm completely sold on it. I will be buying the sequel if they do a sequel. I recommend the game, but again, just as a Spider-Man fan, those were some of my nitpicks. This is kind of a long video. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think. Am I completely wrong? Do you agree with anything I said? Do you have anything I missed that you want to bring up? Maybe something you noticed? But yeah, comment below. If you're not already, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel a bit. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.